Welcome to Anakin Plays Pharaoh, A New Era.
Now that Egypt is firmly united under your rule, we must develop trade relations with cities throughout the world to increase Egypt's wealth, O King of the two lands. As your people prosper, they demand more exotic items. Tired of jewelry and easily obtained luxury goods, your people want rare and expensive luxury goods, such as incense. Your court and I, your trusted vizier, recommend that you establish a Red Sea port at Sawu. Sawu offers a trade route to distant Punt, from which the finest incense in the world may be imported, though at great cost. Besides some modest veins of gold and copper ore, Sawu produces few raw materials of its own, but can thrive as a manufacturer of finished goods. By importing raw materials from trade partners and exporting finished products, Sawu shall be able to turn a tidy profit. While you are busy at Sawu, one of your most valiant nomarchs is establishing a new trade center in Nubia. His city, Aiken, is likely to come under attack, so my beloved Pharaoh should be prepared to send him any resources he may need. Under your rule, Sawu is sure to be one of the loveliest cities in the kingdom, suitable as a final resting place for you and your family. As you establish the thriving port, do not neglect preparations for the afterlife. A mausoleum and small brick pyramid will provide sumptuous quarters for you and your family after your passage to the Field of Reeds.
Alright, hi, this is Anakin, and welcome to Series 1, Episode 30 of our playthrough of Pharaoh, A New Era, the campaign missions. We're playing Sawu, as you just saw from that introduction. Now, Sawu and Aiken were our choices. Aiken, this one is military. Make no mistake about it, we have to do military in this one. Aiken is military times 10. Very, very hard. And probably, particularly with the changes they've recently made, needs some balancing to be a better mission. Anyway, decided to do Sawu so that we can keep working on that high culture rating. We've got to get a culture rating of 65 on this one. I wanted to keep working on that and see what we can learn about how to do a better job getting our culture rating up. So, Sawu has a lot of trade opportunities, but you don't have very many raw materials. You basically have to import then export. And what I wanted to do here is there's a bunch of gold mines over here, so of course that's where we're going to go. We're going to get the gold mines and we're going to go with that. So I'm just setting up to try to optimize the gold so that it's as efficient as possible and we can get maximum value out of it. So what we're going to do here is set up a large block that all those mines and the palace, etc., can recruit from. And we're going to use that as our starting point. And I'm not going to say too much about the builds and stuff. It's pretty simple. Now, I will say this. Use the same one we used for E30. Kind of my variation of a large block that has a lot of pavilions and bandstands and booths and everything to try to keep the culture rating up. And I will say, just looking ahead, it did just fine, but still got work to do to get a proper block that I really like for the way the game plays now in terms of culture. So that's one of the lessons learned we'll talk about at the end of this is, what does that mean? What do we got to do to get that better? So I'm just going to shut up and let you watch this build. I am going to fast forward. This is like 3.5 hours of gameplay. We'll try to get it into one video, and so it's going to go a little bit fast. Slow it down if you need to watch something, but this is the same building stuff that we've done over and over. Now over here, a little to the west of our gold is our more gold / copper deposits. We have copper mining, so we're going to put in some copper mines here, and this obviously is going to be our military area. We're going to put in academy, recruiter, some weaponsmiths, the whole 9 yards, so that we can handle our military. Wanted to get the economic engine #1 priority, military #2 priority in case we're called on anything, and then the other thing on our basic strategy is if we can make it, we want to make it early so that we can be ready for any requests. We know that Icon's going to ask us for a lot of stuff, and one of the keys to the mission is to keep your kingdom rating up by meeting those requests. There you saw I went broke. There's no reason to go broke on this. Obviously you got tons of money coming in, and I was almost relieved when I saw that, because now I can just forget about it, not worry about it, and just move on. Now notice, put the forts right there near the recruiting. Does anyone know if the walking time of the recruits to the fort has any bearing whatsoever on your speed of recruiting? And by the way, while we're here at that, you see that little lake right there? The immigrants, this map is different from the original game. The immigrants can actually walk directly over to this big area over here where we're building, right through those dunes. There's a little way that they can get through there. And you can also even put a ferry landing across that little lake, which we will do later to allow our land traders to get over there. The Kingdom Road is over to the left as we're looking at the screen right now. But anyway, that is a change. It's a big change in the thing. Oh, and one other thing, I did turn off the critters because I just find them to be a pain. You can't really control them, and it's just they don't do much except just make some noises and kill a occasional person. And honestly, it's not that big a deal. So the other thing about this is post a big update. They did a big update, big improvements to the game. We can bind the road key. We got a key for the road. We got a key for houses. We got a key for undo. We got a key for, there's some nicer keys, and I'm using them all the time here now. I'm trying to get used to it. So you can bind them the way you like them and get them to go. And here I'm checking out. There's that thing I was talking about. We can put a little ferry landing here and there, and that will allow land traders to get over there to the other area. And we're going to actually set up another housing block out here. I tried to go particularly to keep the gods happy, tried to build the nice large blocks. Anytime I needed more housing and more people, instead of trying to develop the first block, I just kept adding future blocks so that we would have more temples, and it was easy to keep the gods happy. So this is going to be yet our third block that we've built, and this is on the kind of the left bank or the left side of that water passage there. And that's about all there is to say about that. So in the spirit of making stuff as quickly as we can, we're going to start importing flax and making linen. We don't need it in our city, but our economy is pretty decent, and we can get that ahead of time just in case we're asked for it. This area here, I'm thinking about bricks. Yeah, bricks for our monument. But I end up building this, and it kind of sits here for a long time as I get distracted by other things going on. Oh wow, got your attention. We'll say hello to Senator. We've been honored with senators watching our videos, and he's one of our little crew now. So welcome aboard, Senator. He's already made some great comments. And for those of you who don't know, he's the one who made those great worker blocks that I was using in earlier episodes. And I don't know how much of I played so much of the original game making Senator work blocks. Now this area out here, what we're going to do is use this for farming. So we're going to build a small block here, not a full-blown big block, but just a small block that will take up minimal amount of space in here. It's going to have some entertainment. It's going to be fully functional. It's going to be kind of like a 4x3 with a temple in the middle and some of the 1x1 buildings, and then we'll put a bandstand on it like that to give it entertainment, and it should be good to go just like that. And we'll just put a few houses around it and put all the stuff in it so that we can fully evolve it. It won't be efficient. I mean, we'll be putting a lot of services for just a few houses, but it serves the very definite purpose of giving us the recruiting ability in this small space here, so we can leave all that open land for meadow farming of chickpeas. And the whole key with these meadow farms is to be just brutally efficient with that water lift there, so that you can irrigate all your farms and not drive yourself crazy. It's very awkward. This is one of those things, if we were doing global workers, this would be so much easier to do. But, it's a challenge to try to come up with something that'll work and still be able to recruit. So you see what I came up with. But the idea is that we're going to run the irrigation around the outside, as you see me doing there. Then we'll go inside that, set up the farms, and then make sure that they attach to roads so that they can recruit workers. And they don't need fire or architect help, so they'll be good to go unless we add storage yards. And if we do, then we'll have to put in fire and architecture to make sure that the storage yards don't burn down. This section is going to be to set up our dock area. We're going to try to set up a decent size area where we can have a dock and have some storage for it. And we'll get to it later in review, but a lesson learned from this playthrough is, particularly in a big city like this, you can't have enough storage. There's not enough storage yards. It takes a tremendous amount of space. It's almost to the point where I'd almost be willing to do some junk housing just to have more storage yards, but now we'll go there. However, here we are going to build yet another large block so that we can recruit up to that storage yard area, the dock area, and also there will be a lot of industry up there as well. Now I'd taken a break here, and I'm just coming back, and I decided to run all my risk assessments and make sure we had all the coverages right. I'm glad I did, even though I was a little bit late. You'll see in just a minute. But we just wanted to make sure nothing's going to blow up or burn down, collapse or burn down unnecessarily because of an error on my part.
And you just saw an area where I'd forgotten fire. I added some potters, extra potters, and stockyard out there near the palace because we were getting a large, very large request for pottery up front. I wanted to make sure we hit it, added some more, and then forgot to add fire protection where I'd added it and caught it with my risk assessment, but just a few seconds too late because we did get some fires and lost a few. Here I'm building another small block, and what's going on here is I just have it in my head. I just want to do something kind of cool, which is have that island. There's an island over here to the northeast of us, and that island is just perfect to have your Navy. So I thought that would just be our Navy island. So we're going to set up an island over there. But for that to work and to really be effective and to allow us to evolve our housing and get goods over there and everything, there's going to have to be a working ferry landing on this side to get over there and one on that side, of course, to get back. So that's the purpose of this little community here. Its sole purpose really is to allow us to have a ferry landing that goes over to that island, which is going to end up being our Navy, or at least our Navy headquarters. And here you can see we're starting to build out that island. So we're going to put another small block here, take up a minimal amount of space, make sure we've got some housing that's available to be recruited from, and then we'll set up our roads around this island, around the perimeter, so that we can put in warships and transport ships, and we'll even do some fishing because there's two good spots for fishing on this map. One is right there, the way we're looking at the screen, it's on the upper left corner. There's a good spot there, and there's another good spot I never did use, which is down closer to where the folks come in on the Kingdom Road.
So you can see there we've started to build up a pretty nice navy around that island and a little fishing, and we're just starting to feed folks. We've got some chickpeas coming in. We're feeding the farming. The farmers get first shot at their own crops, and then we're feeding that one block up there above us. And now I'm trying to get the entertainment going. Now that we've got some blocks eating, then the next step would be entertainment, and then after that is pottery, then beer. So just wanted to get some entertainers going. I thought we could try putting quite a few entertainment schools here sort of centrally located and let them go out to wherever they need to go. We'll talk about that again in lessons learned. You can see the evolution taking place in that block. It's already quickly going up to, well, there comes apartments, so that means it's beer. It's already ready for schooling. When you see those apartments with the little green roofs, that means they're ready for a scribal school to take them on up to common residence. And you see our little island over here. I think it's kind of cool. I did it because I thought it was cool. We had enough shoreline anywhere we wanted it to put in the Navy, but I like the idea of that island being the Navy. And I will add that I think that the biggest thing about having a strong ground army, your archers and your infantry, have those shields and have those composite bows. It really strengthens them. And because your recruiting is so slow, you have to start it early and to get it done. And you want to, if it's going to be so hard to recruit a fort full, then they might as well be as strong as they can get, and that means give them the composite bows and the shields, as the case may be. So we're starting to feed more people, so I wanted to expand the farming. So again, we're just going to keep building off of this area over here. This is our food, so our main food source for the whole city will be this farming over here that we're doing. Well, you can see it circling that small housing block we have, and you also see how we're able by running the roads and then taking advantage of that the water lift has no limit. It'll go as far as you want to send the ditch, and it also you only need to be within 2 of the irrigation ditch in order to be irrigated. That's a farm, that is. So we're going to take advantage of that. In a minute, you'll see how we run the water on over to this new set of farms and make sure that they're irrigated and ready to go. And you can see we've already started importing limestone, importing sandstone, trying to pull it all over here. I decided to just build everything over here. Our dock's way over on the other side. No big deal. You just have the cart guys run over there and grab it and bring it over here. So you want to be able to accept it at the dock if it's coming in by water, and then make sure you've got your carts pulling it away so that you can keep that space up. And you also notice we have gone to schools now. We started putting in schools. We started importing reeds and making papyrus. And this is kind of the first time we really checked our score. And you can see our culture's at 40. We've been sending troops off to different battles all along. And we've had battles at home. And we've got 6 forts that are all strong and well equipped and the whole bit. So our Army's great. Our Navy's great. Our economy's very strong. Turned 46,000 demons right this minute. And I didn't even push the economy. We could have raised taxes. We could have done, whatever. I'm not exporting everything. Even started at one point, as I started working on the culture rating, importing more papyrus. Even though I'm making it, started importing it to make sure we had plenty so that we could do this right here, which is put in libraries. Make sure that we had enough papyrus. So if you're going to have a cultured city, you need good health coverage. That shouldn't be a problem if you have decently designed blocks. You're going to need good religious coverage, which if you put all your gods in all your blocks, that's a great start. And then you just throw in some extras like we're doing here, throw in some extra shrines and stuff, and you should be able to get pretty good coverage without too much effort or cost for your gods. And then, so that's 2 of the components. So the last of the school, you need a lot of papyrus because you're going to have to put in a lot of the education, I should say. You're going to put in a lot of Scrabble schools and several libraries in order to get your culture rating up. And then entertainment comes down to, this is probably the biggest one, comes down to having enough venues and then making sure that those venues are getting people. So, getting entertainers. So I think, and I'm kind of ahead of myself, but I'll just talk about it now. Save us maybe doing it later. I think the next one I play is going to be designed so that I don't mind the block. The block is probably okay. May need to tweak it some so that we can fit libraries into it more easily without, blowing up houses to do it. But would like to have the design so that the entertainment schools for each block are right there at the entrance to the school. So, your goods that you want to buy and your entertainment schools are right there ready to go in. And that, I think, would make everything flow. Because these, I believe, now somebody knows differently, let me know, but I think the way these entertainers work is a school is on a cycle, like the dancers, and they're ready to go and say, okay, I'm ready to go entertain somewhere. I think that they look for the closest venue that is open for them to dance, and that's where they go. So that being said, if that's true, or even something similar to that is true, that means that it really behooves us to have entertainment schools close to where we want the action. And the way these blocks are designed, we of course want all the entertainers walking in from that one space in order to make sure we hit both venues. So what I did basically, if you're curious on the battles, whenever I would have one where they needed help, I would tend to send 4. Either land or sea, and we had 2 transport wharfs. Each could take 2, and that was good. I also, at one point, I just kept building more warship wharfs, and I thought, well, we don't blow up at 5. Let's have 25, and you've got a limit. That's your limit right there. You can have 10 total ships, and you have to decide how many of them are going to be transport and how many of them are going to be warship. And if you have 2 transport, you can send 4 of your 6 army. And that right there is where I was, experimenting with too many wharfs. Forgot to put down protection for that because I added that to a farming loop, and the farming doesn't need any protection, but that warship wharf certainly did, so it burned down. Not the end of the world. Okay, so you can see we're easily able to hit our requests. All is well. Let's keep going. So here we're kind of starting a little dance with the culture. You can see our prosperity is really good. We're making a lot of money. We've got our kingdom rate is really good because we've been able to keep up with all the requests. We've got perfect public health. Everybody has access to physician, dentist, and mortician. Our schools are in good shape. Perfect number of schools and libraries. Not quite the coverage we'd like to have. That's where I said I'd like to redesign a little bit to have the libraries more integrated into the housing blocks instead of just tossed on the outside. But then it comes down to having enough of these silly things, and it just gets to the point where it's ridiculous how many of these you end up building, and I just think that's out of control to have that many. I think there's some balancing opportunities for the designers, and clearly, given this beautiful patch they have put out, clearly they are staying on top of this and want this to be the best possible game that everybody's going to enjoy playing. And you can see down here we got some degradation because of lack of entertainment, and it's just really hard to get the entertainment everywhere. And again, I'll go back to what I said before. I'd like to have the entertainment venues, the schools right down here with that block, and each block will have its own set of schools. And that doesn't mean they'll always go to that block to entertain, but it does mean that you'll have them there and readily available and convenient. So the rating is kind of bouncing up and down. It's not even giving me any hints now, so I'm going to have to go check it out. But basically, it just comes down to just what we said: perfect health coverage. Get your schools and libraries up to a sufficient amount with good coverage, and make sure you've got enough religion, combination of shrines and temples to keep all your gods at congenial. Also notice we haven't had a single blessing in this entire playthrough. We did not have one blessing. That's fine with me. It makes the game harder. That's a change that they've done. You have to start doing festivals in order to trigger even the first blessing. So that's cool. You can actually play without any God blessing. So the religion just becomes a challenge to you to make sure you have enough coverage, but it isn't a mechanic that you manipulate into just winning the thing for you the way we could do, right? So I like that. I love that change. And the other thing you notice there is now that we've got our stuff built, and we're a little short on people. We're starting to get the aging thing, and I am taking away the businesses that we don't need anymore. The bricks, we could have kept making some bricks and exporting, but we don't need money. It's not a problem. We're over 500,000 demons, and as I said, we're not even trying hard on the money. So here I'm looking at what percentage of this, and they look fairly good. 10 out of 15, 14 out of 21, 6 out of 9 for the dancers. They could be a little bit better. We've got perfect coverage as far as venues, and we've got reasonable participation. It could be a little better. I think around 80% is excellent if you can get it up there. And here we can see the schools looking pretty good. Everything's decent, so we're just going to have to keep tweaking it and growing it and trying to get up to a high enough that 8,000 population. And we are short workers. And here I'm adding another Scrabble school just to have another school in there, just to get that coverage up just a little bit more. All right, so here we go. We finally got our victory. It took us a long, long time. I did not make any attempt to rush this. I did not kind of min-max it. I did not really think about what's the fastest I can start importing. I just sort of played it step by step, really, honestly, as a learning process. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about the game, and hopefully this helps you learn a little bit more about the game. And I will work on a block design that's a little more accommodating of libraries and schools, and making sure that we have that kind of combination, those entertainment schools in the right places, and we'll take on our next challenge next time. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Pharaoh, A New Era video. Thank you.